This is Gavin with my co-host
Hamlin
McGill on the No Sports Sins podcast. And today is the game 5 of today is game 5 of the NBA Finals.
The 5th game, that is.
Yeah, the 5th game, number 5. Cleveland Cavaliers versus the Golden State Warriors in Golden State.
For game number 5.
Now, we just want to go ahead and spitball a few of our theories about the game plan that the Cavaliers should employ going into this game to give them an edge on being able to win the game. First of all, I want to talk about, number 1, why Tristan Thompson should be shooting way more threes to match the other Thompson's production. You can get him on some pick and pop threes, way more threes. He could space the floor. Just because his percentage is down doesn't mean that he can't progress back to the mean.
I think one thing that really is an obvious case is how Kevin Love is going to cancel out Kevin Durant. It's Kevin on Kevin, and everyone knows when it's Kevin on Kevin, the McAllister conundrum comes through, and we'll see a paradox on the floor where there'll actually be 2 Kevins but no Kevins at the same time. So it's gonna be really interesting to see once they're both on the floor at the same time. They're just going to be completely non-existent, omnipresent, if you will.
Right, and some would say that that's a benefit if our Kevin can cancel out their Kevin. And we have Deron Williams and Derek Williams, and some people say that when you combine those two and put them into the same player and you have Williams squared, that's really the only key that you need. In fact, the Cavs are 13-0 when Deron Williams scores at least 1 bucket.
You were talking about DW squared, and when you see this in full report, you'll understand that it's a force to be reckoned with, right, similar to that of the Spanish Armada.
Exactly. Now, here's another topic I wanted to tackle. LeBron can't rest for more than 2 minutes without the Cavaliers going on a downward slide and losing. What about this theory? What about you have LeBron come off the bench and maybe just come in the third quarter? That way he has plenty of rest and he can finish the game out strong.
I love the idea. That's the problem that we are seeing in the game is clearly LeBron doesn't have enough rest. Give him 3 times as much rest. If you want to be real smart, you only put him in the last 2 minutes when it isn't. That's the only time anyone should put on the game anyway.
Right.
Because that's the only time that even matters.
Right. And let's say even they are down 30 because LeBron rested that entire time. Who's to say that they can't award him a 33-pointer just for shooting it really deep? He'll have the energy to make it at that point too. Yeah,
absolutely. And pretty much going to be sitting there on the bench fueling up with Gatorade. You really can't go wrong there. Once you're sipping on Gatorade through the entire match, you're going to come in superhuman when you get into the end of the game.
Now, do you think Kyrie Irving needs to do some more post-ups against Zaza Pachulia or maybe Kevin Durant?
I think he really needs to use his size to make a difference. Zaza is not even from America, so he doesn't even know how to guard an American. That's it's a different game all over the world, and so you can use your ability to post up. Just similar to how you eat post cereal in the morning. You're gonna take a bowl,
or take a post workout after you work out.
Yeah, well, that actually has more to do with being in the paint.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
So what you really need to do is just eat a bunch of Golden Grams and just put your back up against the foreigner, shove your balls down on his leg a little bit, and then you can use his leg as a booster to hop over his body.
Exactly. I mean, Kyrie does have a decent amount of athleticism and speed and dribbling ability, but just because he has those things doesn't mean that he should over abuse them. And I think he needs to be getting in the post to kind of catch Golden State unawares.
You want to be able to catch him off guard. You can't be doing the same things you've been doing in the past few games because, look, it hasn't been working. So one thing I think would be very interesting is they're going to expect you to shoot in your own hoop. Now, it doesn't say anywhere in the rule book that you can't shoot the ball in your hoop.
Right.
That you're defending and have it count for points that they get, and that therefore they're not getting hot because they're not shooting their own baskets. They're staying cold. You're giving them the points so that they don't fight so hard, but they're staying cold because they're not actually doing the shots. Then you're so hot from making all these shots, you can easily catch up.
Now, do you think it's a good strategy to take more shots of alcohol in the floor? Would that count as shots added towards your total point count?
Absolutely. It
is a shot.
A shot's a shot as far as I'm concerned. And not only that, here's another tactic that people aren't going to be expecting. So you always want to do something that people aren't expecting. It works every time.
I mean, the thing is, there's plenty of coaches that haven't risked anything in this league, and then they get fired within a year or two, and they wonder, why did I get fired? What did I do wrong? It's because they're not risk takers. They just follow current trends 2 years late after, they've already been burnt out. It's time to get ahead of the curve. It's time to get some vodka and some Jameson on the court, start chugging shots. Yep. Because, one shot, every single player, let's say they have 5 shots apiece. Now, they'll be pretty drunk, but maybe they'll be the difference.
Absolutely. A couple of LeBron Jameson shots is really going to take you to the next level. Another thing that you can employ is the Trojan horse. You can get a papier-mâché Steph Curry and throw him on the court, but inside of him is actually going to be Kyrie Irving. So when they see the Steph Curry on the court, they're going to think, oh, wow, that's Steph Curry. He's on our team. We don't have to defend him. We don't have to do anything about it. But actually, it's Kyrie Irving who's going to bust out of the papier-mâché, score a quick basket.
That's a good strategy there, Bill. A safe strat.
We like to be safe.
Now, Iman Shumpert has a proclivity for kind of dribbling out of control. But do you think that we should give him the reins of the offense and kind of dictate and slice it apart, kind of like the LeBron James, point forward role? But we'll have Shumpert, he's a shooting guard. He'll be the new point guard. Do you think that could go wrong?
I don't think there's anything that's going to go wrong with him because he's going to have the energy, the heart, and he's going to go buck wild. And not only that, he's going to have the ball in his hands. And when he's got the ball in his hands, there's only one thing that you're going to do, and that's going to put it in the hoop. And I think another strategy too, Bill, that no one's talked about yet, but it's obvious, is that you put in Bogut. No one's expecting him to play, and you put him out there. They don't even know how to guard him. They don't even understand how he plays the game, the Warriors. So you put him in.
Yeah, the Cavs people thought the Cavs released him, but they really didn't. He's just in the dungeon training.
Absolutely.
And that's just the kind of performance, the kind of thing you need to push over the top. And honestly, I don't know what they should do with Channing Frye and Richard Jefferson. Their comedy podcast, the Road Trippin' podcast, it's built the rapport up, but honestly, I don't know if they're taking the game seriously enough.
They're not taking the game seriously, and that's pretty obvious. So I think a good substitute for Richard Jefferson is putting in Jeffrey Richard, and he's an Omaha
Jeffrey
resident.
Richard Mernan.
Yeah, absolutely. But for the point of this series, I think he should just be called Jeffrey Richard, and I think this would really help elevate the game and the team because this guy's got a lot more experience behind the computer, and so he knows numbers, he knows stats, he knows.
It is a sabermetrics revolution in basketball the past 10 years. So he's good at math and a good with an Excel spreadsheet, and he's 6'2". That's pretty tall as far as the average man goes, and I think that is going to carry you a long way in the court.
The game is 10% physical and 90% mental. So if you have a good attitude and you understand numbers, you're going to go out there and you're going to drain it every time.
Now, if he's going to replace Richard Jefferson, who's going to replace Channing Frye?
That's an easy one. That's Chandler from the TV show's Friends.
The character or the actor?
The character himself. The actor will not be present.
How do you extricate him from the show?
Well, what you simply do is you place a normal-sized television screen with his image on the court and let him go to town.
Well, here's to hoping all these, creative and risk-taking strats can help propel the Cavaliers to a Game 5 victory and spoil those people who bought their ticks for $90 to $100,000.
Yeah, we're all happy because Tyson Lue just bought stock in Tyson Meats, and we know that he knows how he's going to bring the heat.
This is Gavin and
Hank
bringing you tomorrow's sports news today.